Hello, my name is Eleni Spirudis, and thank you for joining us for ADHD Awareness Week this week, where today I'm talking about ADHD and it being a family affair. Now, you might not have thought about ADHD as a family affair, but we do know that it is oftentimes inherited. And as we recognize the symptoms of ADHD more and more, we can often start to see some patterns or some behaviors that might be very familiar, especially in our family unit. So why is this? ADHD is certainly becoming more recognized and diagnosed more frequently, thanks to events like this, raising awareness around ADHD. There are certainly professional supports in schools, very much tools around now that recognize the challenges that some ADHD symptoms can provide. We also know now that ADHD isn't all about, children maybe just, being bouncing off of walls in school somewhere. We know it can look very, very different and become very situationally variable. And that is very much the case with women because we are certainly getting an understanding of how different it presents in women, different stages that can be exacerbated at certain points in life, and just getting a greater understanding of what ADHD can look like, both between men and women and in different periods of our lifetimes. Often when a parent contacts me for coaching, it is for their child, which is great, and we welcome that opportunity. And as I get to talk to parents, we often sort of have that aha moment where a parent recognizes that, well, maybe this is something that I'm involved with as well. And maybe my own ADHD, my own undiagnosed ADHD is something to have a closer look at. So often we get adults that do seek their own diagnosis once they've committed to getting some support for their children. And lastly is recognizing the symptoms of ADHD and realizing that when, especially with children, when we see some kind of behaviors or some symptoms, we can get a better understanding of what is underlying or what could be the source of that reaction. So what can help? Well, Dr. Ned Hallowell has often described ADHD as having a Ferrari engine, but bicycle brakes. That is a very accurate illustration, I think, because our ADHD brains can certainly function just at an unbelievably beautiful amount of speed and accomplish so very, very much. With that said, ADHD symptoms, including time blindness, which is one that I see often at homes, can certainly contribute to some of the chaos that some of my clients do describe taking place once, especially their kids get home from school. I encourage parents to think about triggers in their home and in their own routines, which we know once our kids are in school and they leave that really structured environment, sometimes things can go sideways once they do get home. And keeping a routine and kind of recognizing the triggers is going to be a piece of advice that can really help mitigate some of those reactions and some of those outbursts as we know them. Another symptom at home that we see that can be exacerbated is overwhelm, both for adults and for our children. For our kids, overwhelm can sometimes look like a tantrum or just becoming so overwhelmed that a child can really not even know what to say and can't find the words. For parents, overwhelm can look different. It could be having a task that is not maybe something they are interested in, perhaps just organization-wise, and we tend to put that off. And there's very little maybe incentive for us to start a task that we don't like, which is another topic we cover in coaching. But that overwhelm can lead to maybe not focusing any attention to something until it becomes a real problem and a real challenge, which can lead to another set of emotions and shame that often come with ignoring something because it's simply really hard for us to get started and to focus our attention on. One last thing I want to leave you with is the importance of being accurately diagnosed by a mental health or a medical professional with an understanding of ADHD. ADHD can often coexist with other conditions, including autism, anxiety, depression. And some of these symptoms may be very similar. So it's really important that your diagnosis comes from someone that is trained to recognize the subtleties in each of these. And again, here we are very much willing and able to support your journey around ADHD and offer supports, including individual coaching. We offer accountability sessions called our Empower Hour, and these can be really helpful ways to keep accountable for tasks, maybe especially the ones that are challenging to begin. Again, my name is Eleni Svaroutis with Empower ADHD. Thank you very much for joining us.